All right, I don't know if you can see under here too clearly, but as you can tell, we had a little incident here, and you can see my gas adjust shock here, although it's holding on. Let me get under here, and it is, of course, super dark. So let me see if I can. No, I can't fix that problem just yet. May have to. I don't understand. Oh, so this pulled right out of the mount here, which is back here. So that shock's not even operating anymore. That one's totally gone. It's hard to see because it's kind of dark up here, but the rod's extended and it's way out of position from where the mount is. So this thing came right out of its mount. Can't believe that. It actually pulled right out of there. Son of a gun. And so did this one. This one over here. An issue was what happened with a shock over here too. And it looks like it's now this is just kind of sitting here. And the bolts themselves, it looks like the actual mount that they go into is broken off. The part where it goes into the frame right in here. I don't know if that's a threaded coupling or what, but that sucker is definitely got a problem. So this sucker came right out. So I've got two shocks here that are basically doing nothing right now. They're just hanging in here doing whatever. So I'm gonna pull these out and extricate myself from under here and see if I can pull these shocks out and see what the heck happened to them, because they are that is not cool at all. Tires look okay. A little wear on the inside of this one a little bit more, but not much. But yeah, I got to get those shocks out. I got to undo those bolts. Okay, you see what I got here, right? I got two gas adjust shocks, KWBs. These are supposedly the model that's supposed to be for the motorhome, for the rear. And I just want to show you a couple things. So I had to unbolt them because I was doing my undercarriage inspection. I don't ever remember taking a hit or hitting a large pothole, you know, possible on the road at some point. But these son of a guns, look at this. This thing literally broke the top cover off, okay? I don't know if I can recompress this. I have no idea if these will compress. Nope, this one's shot. This one's totally not even moving. This one here, I don't know if I can compress this one or not. Nope. This one's shot too. But see what they also did, if you notice, they broke the mounts right off the chassis. Look at that. Broke the weld clean off. So now I'm going to have to go back in and I'm going to have to weld these back on, which is going to be really fun for me underneath there. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to clean up the mounts and reinstall these. I was just, well, I'm shocked, to be honest with you. I don't ever remember taking such a big hit. And these are supposed to be the shock absorbers for the rig. They've been in the rig for 2 years now. One of the early things I replaced. Yeah, not too happy about that. I bought a new set. It's coming on its way this Wednesday. And yeah, going to wind up replacing this. I'm also bought a set of new rear sway bar bushings, stabilizer bar bushings. So going to do those at the same time. But I cannot believe that it just snapped that right off of there. So I'm going to have to get those off and get those remounted on there. I'm just blown away by the amount of force it would take to snap those. Wow. That's all I can say right now. I got to figure out how I'm going to get this cleaned up and fixed. the shop now. I've cleaned up these. This one I had to literally torch off. Had to get the nut loosed, and I did it with some thrust and basically a torch to loosen it up and get it off. This is one of the two shock mounts here that were mounted to the frame. So I've cleaned them up with a grinder, and I've finished them off with a polishing brush here to get them pretty clean. I'm going to do the same thing with the frame mount. You can see I got the two here. I got the lower mounting bolts, and I've kind of painted these orange just to let myself know that, yes, again, I did do them for a second time. And just clean them up a little bit so there's a little less corrosion to them. These are pretty, it's a little warm there. I touch that right like that. See, there's a grating on here. See, these are high strength bolts. And yeah, so I got these here. I don't think the weld that held this into the frame was really great. I'm also suspecting, based on the video I just saw, just kind of looking at when I was pulling these shocks out and looking at them, I think that the actual piece that mounts onto the frame rail is bolted on. I might be able to unbolt it and do the welding here as opposed to doing it under the rig, which I would prefer. And because that way I can clean the whole piece up, repaint it, clean it up, make it look nice and clean, get it back underneath the rig by just rebolting it back in place. So I got to take a look at that when the weather gets a little bit nicer. It's been raining the last couple days. So anyways, so that's what I got right now, and I'll keep prepping to well, we'll see how long this video lasts. I'm trying to get in here, and oh, mosquitoes, get rid of them, man. Anyways, I've got my rear shock mount down there. I'm gonna try to focus in on it. There she is there. And then I got my upper shock mount, which is up here, which I've cleaned up, and to some extent, you see here, there's, you know, the cables and everything in the way here. This is actually oh, fuel line. Well, that's fun. Anyway, so there's the bumper mount there. See what we got here under the frame. It's bolted all in. We're probably going to replace that with the airbags. This thing here, I'm looking at it and trying to figure out, okay, based on what I'm seeing here, trying to get in here. See, there's a rivet there. I mean, this is, and there's two rivets, one there and one on this side, which I'm going to try to clean off. They foamed everything in this rig, dude, seriously. So there's a rivet there, and you know, you can feel them up on the top side of this frame. I've been told these are like weak points on here, but they look to be okay, although I'm not a big fan of this being so dirty. So I'm going to try to clean this off a little more. I did some grinding on it to clean it off, to get ready for the weld, so the stud can sit in here and you know, get welded in and be done. So that's ready to go. And like I said, it's just tons of foam, which I'm really not a big fan of encapsulating this, especially with a moisture issue. So I'm going to take those. Got this stuff here. It's supposed to go there. I'm going to clean this off, and I'm going to leave those on as they are. They didn't break off. I think the weak point was the actual stud itself. You can see the part number, if this thing will focus on it. There it is there. And we've got the same thing going on the other side. So we've got rear shock mount there, and upper shock mount over. Where is it? There it is, way up there. Here, which I gotta clean off yet. Does not look like the rivets had broken off of it, so that's good, but it does need a huge cleaning and to get it looking a little better. So there's a stud that should come off of here for the shock mount that's down here. Well, you know, but considering the last couple days after I discovered those shocks, basically blowing the mounts, and you know, I do more research, trying to do what I can to make the rig run better and run safer. And so I've gone on to give a shout out to these guys, sdtrucksprings.com, suspension specialists. That's their website. Obviously, that's their phone number. Gone on to P30 Motorhome Class A airbags. Yes, we're gonna pull the trigger on an airbag kit, not an airbag kit, but an airbag kit. So there's I've got the fronts already, the red ones, and those are by Firestone as well. I don't know what these are, why these are blue. Went to a few sites and they were out of stock, and so I went to these guys. The price was, you know, I'm not too happy with that, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to deal with it. And so I ordered this model 2080, and there you go. There's, I'm going to pop up the larger image so you can see the bits on it. So you basically have these brackets here that fit around the frame rail. Obviously the bags go near the leaf springs, and there's, you know, U-bolts and there's various other components. There's the air valve here and the air line, and so basically, you know, this is supposed to be a drill-free kit. We're going to see how that works. I hope that's the case, because I really don't feel like drilling through my frame for stuff, but this is what I've got right now. So I've ordered it. It's supposed to show up soon. Hope sooner than later, because I'll install the shocks, and then I'm gonna wait for this to show up and put these in before I go to town on doing the test drive. So this is gonna run you about $340 with shipping. But what it does is it helps cushion the load, obviously, just like the front airbags that we put in the front coil springs. This is supposed to kind of stop the you know, radical vertical movement of the leaf springs and suspension when you know, when you hit bumps on the road or what have you. It's supposed to even out the road, even out the ride a little bit. So hopefully that's the case. I ordered it. I'm not sure, they're going to let me know when it's going to show up via email, and we'll work that into the repairs here.